Welcome to our channel. Today, we will dig into the fascinating world of United States elections. The U.S. has one of the most complex and unique electoral systems in the world, with a history filled with intriguing facts and surprising twists. From the early days of the Republic to modern elections that captivate the globe, we'll explore many captivating facts that reveal the rich tapestry of American democracy. So, buckle up and let's get started. George Washington, the nation's first president, was unanimously elected by the Electoral College in 1789 and again in 1792. He remains the only president to have received 100% of the electoral votes, a testament to his widespread popularity and the trust the young nation placed in him. The Electoral College was created as a compromise between electing the president by a vote in Congress and electing the president by a popular vote of the people. The Founding Fathers designed it to balance the influence of small and large states, ensuring that both had a voice in the presidential selection process. Women won the right to vote in 1920 with the ratification of the 19th Amendment. This marked a historic triumph for the women's suffrage movement, which had spent decades fighting to achieve equal voting rights. The elections are always held on the specific day. It is the first Tuesday after the first Monday in November. This timing was chosen to accommodate farmers who needed time to travel to polling places, as well as to avoid religious holidays and the end-of-year harvest season. Super Tuesday is a key date in the primary election season, when a large number of states hold their primaries or caucuses on the same day. The results of Super Tuesday can significantly influence the momentum of presidential candidates, often determining the frontrunners. The election of 1800 between Thomas Jefferson and John Adams ended in an electoral tie between Jefferson and his running mate Aaron Burr. The tie was broken by the House of Representatives after 36 ballots, leading to the 12th Amendment, which changed the way vice presidents were elected. Midterm elections occur halfway through a president's four-year term and involve the election of members of Congress, governors, and local officials. These elections often serve as a referendum on the sitting president's performance and can shift the balance of power in Congress. State primaries and caucuses are critical in selecting presidential nominees for the major political parties. These contests gauge candidate popularity among party members and help narrow the field before the national conventions. The number of electoral votes each state has is determined by adding its total number of senators and representatives in Congress. This system gives smaller states more proportional representation than they would have in a purely popular vote system. There have been several instances where a candidate won the presidency by securing the majority of electoral votes while losing the popular vote. This discrepancy has fueled ongoing debates about the fairness and future of the Electoral College. Swing states, also known as battleground states, are those where election outcomes are highly unpredictable. Candidates often focus their campaigns on these states, as their electoral votes can be decisive in a close race. A landslide victory occurs when a candidate wins by a large margin in both the electoral and popular votes. Such victories often indicate a strong mandate from the electorate and can shape the political landscape for years to come. Voter turnout in U.S. elections can vary widely, with presidential elections typically seeing higher participation than midterms or local elections. Efforts to increase turnout include making voting more accessible and engaging voters on key issues. Televised presidential debates have become a key element in U.S. elections, allowing candidates to showcase their policies and directly confront their rivals. The first of these debates, held in 1960 between Kennedy and Nixon, is widely believed to have played a significant role in shaping the outcome of the election. Modern presidential campaigns are multi-billion-dollar operations, funded by donations from individuals, political action committees, PACs, and sometimes the candidates themselves. Campaign finance laws regulate how money can be raised and spent, but the influence of big money remains a contentious issue. In extremely close elections, a recount of votes may be triggered to ensure the accuracy of the results. Recounts can change the outcome of an election, though this is relatively rare. The electoral map is a visual representation of how each state voted in the Electoral College. The map is color-coded, usually with red for Republican states and blue for Democratic states, and can change significantly from election to election. Inauguration Day, held on January 20th following a presidential election, marks the official transfer of power. The president-elect takes the oath of office, beginning their term as the nation's leader. While third-party candidates rarely win major elections in the U.S., they can influence the outcome by drawing votes away from major party candidates. Notable third-party campaigns include Ross Perot in 1992 and Ralph Nader in 2000. Battleground states are highly competitive in elections and receive significant attention from presidential candidates. The outcomes in these states are often seen as key indicators of who will win the presidency. In the U.S., eligible citizens must register to vote before they can participate in elections. Registration requirements vary by state, with some states offering same-day registration to increase voter participation. Early voting allows citizens to cast their ballots before Election Day, reducing congestion at polling places and giving more people the opportunity to vote. This practice has become increasingly popular, especially in recent elections. Political conventions are major events where parties officially nominate their candidates for president and vice president. These conventions also serve as a platform to present the party's policy agenda and rally support from voters. Electoral reform is a topic of ongoing debate, with various proposals aiming to modify or abolish the Electoral College. Some advocate for a national popular vote to ensure that the candidate with the most votes wins the presidency. Incumbents, or those currently holding office, often have a higher chance of being re-elected due to their visibility, experience, and ability to raise funds. However, incumbency does not guarantee victory, especially if public opinion turns against them. Ensuring the security of elections is a top priority to prevent interference, fraud, and hacking. Various measures are in place, including secure voting systems, audits, and monitoring by independent observers. Absentee voting allows people who cannot physically go to the polls on Election Day to cast their vote by mail. This option is crucial for military personnel, overseas citizens, and those with health concerns. Some U.S. elections have seen record-breaking voter turnout, reflecting the high stakes and intense public interest. For example, the 2020 presidential election saw the highest voter turnout in over a century. Exit polls are conducted by surveying voters as they leave polling stations, providing an early indication of how an election might turn out. While useful, exit polls are not always accurate and should be interpreted with caution. Most states allocate all their electoral votes to the candidate who wins the popular vote in that state. However, Maine and Nebraska use a proportional system, dividing their electoral votes between candidates based on congressional district results. On election night, media outlets provide live coverage of vote counts, projections, and analysis as results come in. The intensity and drama of the evening can be as gripping as any sporting event. Young voters are an important demographic, and efforts to engage them have increased in recent years. While historically, youth turnout has been lower than other age groups, their participation can significantly impact election outcomes. Gerrymandering involves manipulating electoral district boundaries to benefit a specific political party. This practice often results in uncompetitive elections and remains a highly debated topic in American politics. After all votes are counted, state officials certify the election results, making them official. This process is a critical step in confirming the outcome and moving toward the inauguration of newly elected officials. In December, members of the Electoral College meet in their respective states to cast their official votes for president and vice president. The results are then sent to Congress for the final count in January. Certain elections are considered pivotal because they significantly changed the course of American history. The election of Abraham Lincoln in 1860, for example, set the stage for the Civil War and the abolition of slavery. Different demographic groups, known as voting blocs, can have a significant impact on election outcomes. For example, suburban women, Hispanic voters, and the African American community are all considered influential in modern elections. Polls are conducted to measure voter preferences and opinions on candidates and issues. While not always accurate, they provide valuable insights into the likely direction of an election. Thanks for joining us on this journey through the fascinating world of U.S. elections. Whether it's the unique Electoral College system, the historic amendments that have shaped voting rights, or the surprising facts that make every election cycle unique, there's always something new to learn about how democracy works in the United States. If you enjoyed these insights, be sure to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell to stay informed on more intriguing topics. Your engagement helps us bring more content like this to you. Until next time, keep exploring and stay curious.